were making 1,000 euros per hour.
The biggest deal that I closed was 45k.
Flash forward to a few months, you literally considering to go back to your parents.
We make stories as a society, what's up and what's down. The universe is just like, this is life.
And then something happened, right? You go somewhere.
In my whole trip, it felt that someone is stabbing me with a knife in my lower back.
And only through that, you are able to experience life at its fullest.
Stop fooling yourself.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first podcast here in this house. We still don't have a name, but we'll have a name soon. But what's most interesting is that we have here a very, very interesting character for today. And we're gonna talk about a very important topic that has personally also helped me a lot, which is connecting with your body, connecting with your gut feeling, to improve your life and to have a better life. And yeah, here I have Thijmen. Thijmen, welcome to the podcast. We finally made it.
It's been a tough journey to get this podcast up and running, but here we are. And yeah, I'm very happy to have you here.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah. The first thing for the audience, we would love to know who you are and what's your story, because he has an amazing story. And how you come to realize about this, what we would say, this exercise or this practice about connecting with your body, how that has helped you in life.
Mm-hmm.
So if you could give us an introduction of yourself, for the audience to know.
Will do. Perfect. So my name is Thijmen. I'm Dutch. I've lived in Amsterdam for almost 9 years. Then I decided to move to Barcelona. I'm a consultant in e-commerce, meaning that I help mainly Shopify e-commerce entrepreneurs that are doing around 1 million in revenue to really understand their own business and to view the business from the perspective of an investor, and from there see which things we can optimize to help them further scaling. So it's not only the marketing part, but it's the financial part as well. I started doing it 4 years ago. I started doing Facebook ads slowly for bigger companies, spending 10k per day. And in the same time, I became a co-owner of a lingerie brand. And it was an exciting journey. I learned a lot about how to run my own e-commerce business, because I've always thought like, if you know how to run ads, you can run a business. But it was not the case. Even though we scaled within 14 months close to 1 million in revenue, we literally made almost all mistakes that we were able to make. Mainly on the side where my knowledge was not that big, aka finance. And from there, I started more with the consultancy. In my head, I was always like looking, okay, I wanted to be an entrepreneur that scaled my business fast as well. So not only my clients, but I was always like looking, how can I make my next steps? So that's something that was always really, really excites me. I started working back then with a woman that I knew from university. Later became my girlfriend. But she was back then helping entrepreneurs to close bigger deals. Think of like 20k to 100k. And it really excites me, because back then I was working with an hourly rate of 85 euros. And I was constantly trying to make it bigger. She really helped me closing my first 8k deal. My second one was a 25k deal. And the biggest deal that I closed was 45k paid in full. So I was always optimizing, always like chasing the next steps. Because in my head, I thought, okay, if I have more money, then I will be satisfied. Then I have like the life of my dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So I was not like working much in the now, but I was thinking, okay, what are the next steps? Running, working more, trying to reach to the next step. And then slowly, like, it was not that I worked a lot, but it was more that I was obsessed. I felt a lot of fear in my business. I was struggling to really be happy. I discovered the more I tried to push and the bigger the deals I was able to close, the more it was not aligned. But I did understand, like, what is not aligned. So based on the fear that I was feeling, I was seeing, okay, what can I do? Then I slowly became in a depression. I had a hard time coming out of my bed. My ideal day was literally like staying in bed for 15 hours because
And just let me add something here, because I remember you mentioned also there were like some lawsuits or some issues that kind of like overwhelm you. And
yeah. So I was in a depression, and then one of the clients was not fully satisfied with the results. And even though that I'm a consultant and telling them what they need to do, if my client is lacking execution power, it's hard to get the results.
Yeah.
So they were not satisfied. They were threatening with a full refund. I was not able to get the refund, and it didn't feel aligned as well because I already provided value. So, like, the stress level increased like 5x.
Yeah.
And then it was even harder to come out of bed. So I was really confused, and like my financial situation decreased as well because I was in such fear that even though there were a lot of opportunities, I didn't saw the opportunities. I had struggle with executing myself. And then slowly I used the funds that I need to pay that were reserved to pay my tax. I started using them, thinking, just have positive thoughts. Just try to do more gratitude and manifest more things, and then it will come again. Like, think positive. But like after 8 months of trying it, like, it didn't work for me. And then I was not able to pay my rent anymore. I was like 2 months late. I sent my landlord a long email made by ChatGPT in Spanish because I don't speak Spanish.
You were in Barcelona, but
I was living in Barcelona, and I was able to get rid of the contract. But the consequences was that I needed to move back to my parents.
Let me bring that into perspective.
Yeah.
Because you were saying 40K deal, you close a 40K deal. So by that time you were making 1,000 euros per hour, more or less. Was it like?
Yeah, I think a bit more.
So you go from there. Also, I don't know if you mentioned, but you got like this like amazing, beautiful apartment, minimalistic. So you were kind of like on the top of the world, and then flash forward to a few months. You literally considering to go back to your parents?
Not even considering.
You had to.
I moved back to my parents. Back then it was my biggest fear. But when it happened, I was in such stress for the last few months that it felt as a relief. It felt like when I made the decision, I was like, wow, it feels good. Like, for now, it's the best thing that I can do. Yeah.
That's beautiful, because I feel like it is a lot of people have this fear of like going back to square one.
Yeah.
And also identify myself, that's a big fear, because you feel like in life you just have to progress every single time, and at the end of the day that's not how it works. You can go up, down, up, down, up, down, and that's absolutely fine. At the end of the day, what's the most important thing is just that you keep going.
Yeah.
And that gives you some perspective. And obviously a new perspective, which that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
Which brought you like a new way of looking at life.
True. Yeah, completely. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and it's interesting that you say like there's up and down. I think we make stories as a society what's up and what's down. Like, the universe is not seeing this as going down. The universe is just like, this is life. So it's more like the ego of us thinking like, oh, this is like the way people would want to see me. And based on that persona that we're creating, that we want to show to the world, we decide what's up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. So you move back to your parents for a while.
Yeah.
And then something happens, right? You go somewhere. I don't know how that came, like, if you can explain how that idea, because I think it's a very random thing to do, at least in my own opinion. It's just something very different, right? But I'm sure you already had like some spiritual background. But if you could tell us a bit more about that.
I think there were two major things, but the first thing that I started doing was I thought, okay, let's go. I want to do ayahuasca. I want to better understand, like, am I doing the right things? Because I knew based on the things that happened in the last few months, there was something wrong, but I was not able to figure out what. So I did an ayahuasca trip near Amsterdam. There were 2 ceremonies, so 2 nights. And in both nights, I felt tremendous pain in my lower back. In my whole trip, it felt that someone is stabbing me with a knife in my lower back. And I was really confused because I've never experienced much pain in my body. And in my trip, I learned myself with guidance of the trip itself, the plant medicine ayahuasca, that the only way to resolve the pain is focusing on it. Instead of trying to not feel it and to fight it by trying, I don't want to feel it. The only thing that I was able to do is like, be curious, be soft for myself, and with self-love, focus on the pain. Just feel it. And when I did it, like, I felt that the resistance, like the pain itself, became less. And eventually, after feeling it for a while, it dissolved. And then my whole perspective in my trip changed. Like, I felt in peace. Everything changed. So that was one of my biggest moments in my life where I experienced that I've like maybe some traumas from my youth, some things that were holding myself back. So it was eye-opening. I felt amazing after the retreat. I was like really calm, loving. I was really in the moment, and I think it was the first time after being more in fight mode that I felt relaxed, that I was present and I was enjoying little things. I was like sitting in nature and really enjoying it, and that was really new for me. I was like, wow, this feels so good. And if I compare it to my first few high tickets deals that I closed, the moment sitting in nature and really enjoying the moment felt way better. So that was eye-opening for me. It changed my perspective on life and it made me curious. But the weeks after my ayahuasca trip, I was a bit confused because as I felt so much pain in my lower back, where was it coming from? The only thing that I knew, okay, be soft for myself, be gentle, positive, soothing self-talk helps, but that's it. So via my mother, she's quite spiritual as well. She used to work for a company arranging funerals. She was director there, and she used to work with an elderly, and she changed her life as well. She remarried with a shaman from Sweden, moved to Sweden. She was in a similar position as I, if I think about it. She had a husband living in a $1 million mansion in the Netherlands. It was beautiful. And then she swapped her whole life. And she said to me, like, I think we can help. I think we can give you like a little reading and then see how it feels. And we can help you together with the shaman, her husband, in a few days in Sweden to help you understanding where your pain is coming from and what your trauma is and working with it. So, of course, I was curious. And then a few days later, she texted me with like a little reading, and I can remember I was really angry. I was like, "Who do you think you are?" I was really triggered. She was saying something like, "You're a little boy. You're not even sitting. You're like laying down. You need to stand up. You need to become a man." I was furious. I was, "Who do you think you are? Saying I'm not a man." I was triggered. And then I understood, like, wow, if I'm that triggered based on a WhatsApp message, there must be something underneath. And that gave me the trust to think, okay, I had some money left, and I think part as a birthday present for my parents, they paid half of it. So with literally the last money that I had, I went to Sweden and worked together with Krista and Sonja. Christus the shaman, and that was the biggest change after the opening in my ayahuasca retreat.
And what was the main thing you learned in that retreat?
I think the main thing is that we have a view of life, and it can be blurred. It can be like as if you're wearing different glasses where you see and feel the world in a different way, and it's most time distorted by having a trauma. So what I understood there and learned and felt was how is it to be in my body, to not be like having the feeling you're walking on the street and not like being in the moment, always thinking what are my next steps, but like be really present and feel your own inner power instead of only the anxious thoughts of how am I going to pay off my debts.
Yeah. And the main thing also you mentioned when you are connected with your body is that you can trust, or you can hear more your intuition, you can hear more your gut feeling, which I guess that cuts the noise. All of this, like what I should do or where I should go, or all of this anxiety, it clears all of that because you sort of feel there is a direction that you have to follow, right?
Yeah. Many people say, trust your gut feeling. And it's like an ancient wisdom where we lost the power of like our gut feeling. We just think it's a digestive system, but it's much more. And in our society now, we lost how to work with it. And you can see people be really dreamy lately. You can see people in the street like looking like this and not be present. And if you're able to breathe a bit lower and connect with your gut feeling, then you can use your gut feeling to your advantage. Then it's not only being in your brain and thinking what's my next step, but you have like a different power. And if you combine them, it's much easier to understand and to trust your gut feeling. You can actually make use of your gut feeling.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So for the audience to know, because we're talking about connecting with the body, right?
Yeah.
And that just sometimes can be like, at least for me, when you started like mentioning that, it was a bit confusing, right? Well, what's connecting with the body?
Sure.
And you made a differentiation, which I was aware of, meditation exercises. So that's why I thought like, okay, you sit down, you breathe, that's just meditation, right? Or breath work. It's just kind of the same, but there is like layers to it. So meditation state, as you mentioned to me, is that makes you get out of your body and makes you light.
Yeah.
Makes you even feel less. And then connecting with your body, it can be at least if you have a lot of traumas or stored pain, it can be even be painful, right? When you're connecting with the body.
Yeah.
And you have a feeling of weight, of like you feel the heaviness of your body, but from that heaviness as well, that power that you mentioned, right?
Yeah. Most people are confused thinking like, okay, I'm really good at meditating. I do a lot of yoga, so I must be in my body. But if you see those people, most time they're just not in their body. They're not able to connect with it. So if you feel during like breath work that you're becoming more heavy, literally what you said, then you know, okay, you're becoming more in your body. And being more in your body means that you're able to connect again with all emotions. So that's why if you have stored emotions that you're trying to neglect, because if you're going out of your body, you don't feel them that much. Then it can be a bit scary as well, and you can feel overwhelmed, like, oh, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. I think this connecting with the body, it is, it makes you more like courageous, because a lot of people are trying to get out and to feel less and to live life with more pleasure, but by avoiding conflict, by avoiding those emotions. And I love one quote of Jordan Peterson that says, "The only way is through."
Yeah.
So connecting with your body is like actually facing those emotions, facing that pain that you have, and only through that you are able to experience life at its fullest, because you're able to accept those emotions that are not pleasant, but because you're there sitting with them, then when you have to face them in your day-to-day life, they don't feel so overwhelming. So then you can enjoy more. And what you mentioned of the yoga or meditation practices, a lot of people are trying to avoid that. Like they're just like, I want to feel good, but maybe to feel good, you first need to feel bad or to accept what's like bad within you.
Yeah. You see a lot of people escaping it. Like, I still sometimes scroll way too long on my phone. And I know now when I scroll my phone and if I'm lost in those thoughts, in that specific moment, I don't feel like my own pains or resistance towards certain things. But as soon as if I stop being on my phone, then the feelings are coming back, like the resistance. So instead of resisting the resistance that we're doing, if you just accept everything, every emotions that you can feel, then you can live through it and you can release them. But we're just really scared to get home in our body and to get to know ourselves. We're sometimes thinking, I know deep inside there's something like a stored pain, but I'm not identifying with that part.
Yeah, true. Also, I like to talk about how this being able to connect with the body, connect with the pain, release the traumas, allows you to find your true self, to be more authentic.
Yeah.
We all know that authenticity is like the higher frequency that you can achieve.
Yeah.
And that's something we've been talking a lot about, being honest. Which obviously that avoids a lot of. I wouldn't say it avoids. I mean, it avoids conflict in a sense that you don't have to be overthinking. Like if you are being honest or if you said the truth or not, you just say the truth, you accept it. So it clears up a bit the mental trash that sometimes we have to deal with when we are not being honest and we are not honoring ourselves. So would you like to share a bit more about you applying this and what you experienced?
What I really experience, as soon as if I feel my anxiety coming back, thinking like, oh, okay, I really don't want to go in that meeting because like it's triggering me. I don't feel like working. Am I good enough? Am I able to get results for my clients? Then it's like the sign for me, oh fuck, I'm not in my body. So what I do then is I'm going to sit down and breathe through my lower back. Try to really feel my body. Try to feel the expansion, focus on it. And then if you do it like with a lot of attention, then you will feel certain pains. And you can focus on it and then it will become less. And if I do that, like my reality can switch within 15 minutes. Before I'm anxious, after 15 minutes, coming back in my body, I'm like, I have no clue why I was so stressed. Like everything is going good. Why am I stressed? And then I can trust like the signs in my body saying like, okay, just do a bit more calm in the upcoming days, or I have the feeling like, okay, now I can speed up a bit and work on the project.
Mm-hmm.
So then I can use my gut feeling, because I believe that fear is stored here.
Mm-hmm.
And if we breathe low enough past fear, then we can connect again with our gut feeling. So then the fear will dissolve.
Mm-hmm. It's so powerful because I'm sure that a lot of people experience myself as well. There is this like periods, like weeks, where you are just running around, feeling anxious.
Yeah.
All of the sudden,
Yeah.
when you thought, no, things are going well, and then everything triggers you, it's like, and then it gets to one day that somehow, maybe out of coincidence, you're more in your body for some reason,
Yeah.
and then you're like, why I was so stressed? But if you can actually realize that way before, and like, okay, I'm getting out of my body, I can just connect, calm down, and then also face those emotions, because that's also a big issue, the resistance. Like the second we feel that, we just want to run away.
Yeah.
It's like, no, come.
Yeah.
Come here. I want to bring it in. I want to feel this emotion. I'm not scared of this emotion. I'm going to sit down, and then we're able to let them go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I like to discuss how this is also making you change your way of work, or potentially, what you're gonna be doing for the next years. Because I believe you're currently iterating your offer. So you already mentioned you're e-commerce consultant.
Mm-hmm.
But you are trying to listen into that gut feeling and what's right for you or not, and iterating that, and what you see for the next years or the next months.
What I see and what I experienced, if I think about my clients and back at the time when I was a co-founder myself, almost every entrepreneur is really stressed. Every entrepreneur is just thinking like, okay, if I'm at 1 million, then I will be happy, without clue where are they running towards. So for me, in my consultancy, it was always important to help them with the core, because you can optimize Facebook ads a bit, but if their fixed cost is way too high, then there is the bottleneck in finance. It's not about better ads. So now that I experienced how trauma and how not being in your body and being stressed has an effect on your health and on your company as well, now I started with coaching other founders with that part, like, how stressed are you? Where do you want to work towards? And I'm currently helping my clients with breathing lower through their body and connecting with their gut feeling as well. And I see massive difference. Like, my clients are more relaxed. They start to like their work more, because sometimes you can become, even as a founder, a slave of your own company, thinking, I need to run, I need to make those hours to make sure that my employees are happy. But sometimes it's just about thinking, okay, what's my ideal life? And then optimize towards that. But in order to know what's your optimal life, you can't come up with those things in fight and flight mode if you're stressed.
Mm-hmm.
That's short-term thinking. But if they're able to connect with the body, be in peace, be in the moment, then they can really make decisions that are aligned. So currently, I just started coaching my clients as well, because I was the living example. I was in a stressful period. I wanted to chase the money, but now I'm combining it, and I see great results for my clients, and it feels fulfilled. This is the first time that I'm helping my clients on that level, where I can really feel, wow, I'm generating value, and I feel fulfilled. This is like the thing that I need to do. Because before, with e-commerce, I was always trying to create more value, and it never felt enough. It never felt aligned or fulfilled.
Damn. Yeah, that's beautiful. So powerful, but scary at the same time, I would say, when you are in a comfortable position. Or maybe not so comfortable, but known right? You earn and maybe you've been doing something for many years, and actually you haven't even sat down to think you are actually stressed,
True.
or that's something that you don't like. But always is scary to change. And I think what you're doing is very good, because some people say, okay, it's too hard to just quit my job now and go all into this like gut feeling or purpose or passion that I have. But hey, you can just learn how to iterate slightly, so you can start feeling how you feel. Those like, okay, I'm feeling fulfilled.
Yeah.
This is the right thing, the right path, and maybe that also gives you the courage to go all in for next time. So I think it's a beautiful iteration, a beautiful strategy, right? To slowly move towards that passion, that goal, that purpose.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I did once a course based on like, what is your values, your mission and vision, and I was so stressed. So I was thinking, oh, what I'm doing now, how can I make the values that I have, my mission and vision, based on what I'm already doing, instead of really feeling, okay, what is my mission, and work from there. So you can only start understanding what's your mission and values if you're really connected with your emotions, because your emotions, if you feel fulfilled, then you know I'm on the right track. So your emotions are your guiding system. They're telling you, okay, this is something that's aligned. Do more of it. And those are the things that you need to stop doing it. But you can only trust it if you're able to connect with it.
100%.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you like to say to the audience? Any other important message, or just a sentence for them to take away for this podcast?
Yeah. That would be, stop fooling yourself. Yeah. Because we are creating so much stories in our heads, trying to grasp the reality we're thinking we're creating, that if you write them down, all the stories that you're making, like, for example, the one that you mentioned, no, I can't do it because I need to make money, and I'm in a safe position in my work now, but I'm getting depressed, but like the money is important. That's the story you're creating as well, because there are so many ways that you can work with it. You can work part-time, so many things. So if you stop making those stories, stop fooling yourself, then you're able to take the next steps to free yourself and come home in your own body.
Yeah. That beautiful ties up beautifully with the start of the podcast, which what you mentioned, like, don't even be scared of going back to your parents.
Yeah.
That's not going back. That might be just actually a step forward.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, it's been a pleasure to have you here in the first podcast. Thank you very much. Yeah. Well, I'll see you, all of you, in the next podcast. And yeah, see you soon. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.
Ciao. Thank you.